Hi friends, welcome back to the part 9th of this tutorial series. So in this part, we will create two additional services. One is the order service and the other one will be the major one, that's the cart service. And before we do that, let me quickly close all these files here. Okay, I don't need the product model anymore. I can close it. Okay, I'll leave the product service as it is here. Okay, and the first thing I'll do is create a cart model. Like we have a product model, we'll also have a cart.model.ts file here that will define how our cart object will look. Okay, so I'll export interface cart model server. So here I'll create two models, one for the server, that's my Angular app. Okay, so I'm considering this as my front end server, and the other one will be my cart model public. So this will be used as a reference for my local storage or anything that I send to the client. Okay, so let's start with the server here. First thing it will have is total. The total amount will be a number. Then it will have a data uh, attribute, which will be an array of objects, and each object will have a product here that will have the reference as product model server. So make sure you include this import statement. Second thing, it will have num in cart. Okay, it's again a number. So this is the number of items that you have in the cart on the server. Okay, so this information will never leave the server. Okay, in the cart model public, I'll have again a total type number and a product data field that will be again an object, will have only the ID of the product that is stored there, and comma, it should be a comma, the in cart value. Okay, so that's the total number of items in cart matching this product ID. Okay, uh, so that should be all for the cart model. Close it. Then in the product service, I need couple more methods here. Okay, let's quickly create that. Get single products from server. Okay, so it will be let's name it get single product. We require the ID from the uh, from the calling function basically, and you can also define the type of return. Okay, I mean the return type of the function. So this will return an observable of product model server. So I know that, right? And for get all products, I know this is going to return an observable of server response from product model. Yeah, I need to define a type here to get as well. The same server response. Okay, and this is giving me an error because I haven't returned anything yet. So it's a simple return this.http.get. Okay, I need to supply the type. It will be product model server. So generally this and this should match. Okay, URL is this dot server URL plus slash products plus the ID that I get. Okay, and here you cannot give any limits because this will only return one product. Okay, so like this. I don't see the description here again. So I think I need to go back. Product, open, edit with plus plus. Sorry. Okay. So I missed it again. So I'm gonna copy it from here, put it there. Let's see if we go down. Uh, Description. Okay. Make sure you add it for both the routes. Okay. And go back to the console. The server has restarted. Send it. Send the request. You get a response with a description. Perfect. Okay. So the next function will be get products from one category. So get products from category. You need the category name as string, and you know, I know it will be an observable of product model server array. Okay, this time. So, oops. Uh, yeah. Okay, I don't need this. I'm sorry. Return this.http.get. Define the type. Should be product model server array. And this dot server URL plus slash products slash category slash, and you concatenate the cat name. Perfect. Okay, so that's all for the product route, product service I mean. And the next service that I'm gonna create is the cart service, and this is going to be a bit lengthy, so I will try to go as slow as possible. Cart, and this is the biggest code that you will write in this entire tutorial. Okay, the cart service code. So here, the first things first, let me quickly inject other services like HTTP of type HTTP client. I'll also need access to product service of type product service. Okay, I'll also create another service for the orders. Okay, that I will inject here. So order service, and for the order service it's very simple code. It's just one simple call to the API, HTTP client. All right, here I need products. That will be an array of for timing, let's put it as any. Okay, but I'm gonna define an interface, a local interface here. Interface product response model, maybe with ID, number, and title string, description string, price number. Then we have quantity ordered, number, and image string. So now I'm gonna use this here. Okay, and I also need the server URL. That will be environment, yep, dot server URL. Make it private and make this also as private. Nothing in the constructor. I'll create a new function get single order. Okay, this will be used in the cart service actually. That's why it's essential to be created first. Return this.http dot get, and I want to define a type product response model array. So this dot server URL plus slash orders plus order ID. Okay, I'll make it as a promise instead of an observable. You can use the toPromise function here, method here, to convert the observable into a promise, so that you can use the then block instead of subscribe. Okay, so let's quickly go here, and what does it say? Variable name must be in lowercase, Pascal case, or uppercase. Alright, so it should be, need to refactor it basically. Server URL, doesn't matter. Okay, close this service, and here need to inject the order service. Private order service of type order service. Okay, first things first. On the top, inside the card service class, I need to define few variables and observables. I'll create my own observable. First variable will be of course my server URL. It will be environment dot server URL. Okay, so now I'm gonna create a data variable to store the cart information on the client's local storage. So whenever you open a browser, go to the developers tool. Every browser has this local storage inbuilt, okay, like this. You can store anything you want here, right? And make sure you do not store any critical information such as users' credentials or any JavaScript web tokens, because anybody can access that information and hack it and use it for malicious attacks. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I need to create an object that will only have the information which will not cause any harm. Okay, so I'll name it cart data client. Okay, so it will be cart model public. Okay, if you remember, we created cart model and we created a cart model public interface. So this will be for the clients. Okay, and the kind of object will be so it will have a total. Okay, the initial value will be 0. Okay, next you should have a prod data, because that's there in the model. If you remember, cart model is prod data. Okay, and that has an array. Okay, so every object will have an in cart value of number 0 and ID 0. Okay, this is the initial uh, declaration. Similarly, I'll have data variable to store cart information on the server. Server means my front end or Angular service. Okay, it's not the backend server. Let's name it private cart data server. This will be my of type cart model server. Here I need a total, of course, 0, and a data that will have an array of object. So num in cart is 0 and product is initially undefined. Okay, so these are the two models that I'll be using throughout my cart service here. Then I'm going to create observables or behave. Okay, let's say observables to for the components to components. I'm sorry, I can type properly. Components to subscribe. Okay, so first one will be a cart total observable, and any observable that you define or create. This is a naming convention. It should end with a dollar sign. Okay, that's entirely up to you. And we'll create a new behavior subject. Okay, so behavior subject is a special type which returns an observable and takes what do you call a type definition here, and it can also define an initial value. So the initial value will be 0. Similarly, I also have cart data observable ending with dollar. You can also remove this cart data observable. So new behavior subject test.cart data server, and this will take an object of the type as cart model server. So let me take a quick pause here. So we are sending this as the initial value, and this, if you remember, is a type of cart model server, and that's why we entered cart model server here as a type. Okay, and behavior subject comes from the package known as RxJX. This is a reactive JavaScript library which comes bundled with your Angular installation. Okay, and this has got so many useful methods and operators, and behavior subject is one of them. We also have a subject, a regular subject. Okay, you can say A of type subject. Okay, as you can see, this also comes from RxJX. Now, what do we need? Let's say we would also need access to our router service. Make sure you import the statement here from Angular router. Now let's define our methods one by one, and before we do that we need to uh, add something in the constructor body. Okay, so what we are assuming that we will have some data in our local storage here, okay, stored here. And the reason why we are doing this is to create a persistent cart behavior. So whenever you refresh the browser, the cart information, the number of products that you added in your cart should be there as it is, okay, including the quantity you added. And for that to happen, because we cannot directly see it from the Angular app, we need some sort of reference, and for that we will store it in the local storage. Okay, so the first thing what I'll do, I'll simply uh, emit the total with the cart server dot total. Okay, so my authoritative data will always be the server data, not the client. Okay, so as soon as the service is called or you open that page, right, I emit this total, which will initially be 0. Okay, similarly I also emit card data object. Okay, this will be my server dot data server. Okay, perfect. Next, we could put a comment here. Get the information from local storage, if any. Okay, so let's get a variable info, and the way you query your local storage is using the local storage dot get item method, and I need to pass a key in strings. So I'll name it as cart. Okay, but this will be in a JSON format. So I need to parse it using JSON.parse method. This is a native JavaScript method. Okay, this has nothing to do with the Angular. Next, I need to check if the info variable is null or has some data in it. Okay, so we'll use a if check here. So if info is not equal to null and info is not equal to undefined and info dot prod data. Okay, so let's quickly define the type. It will be of type cart model public, because we know that will be coming from local storage, and this is the model that we have defined for the local storage. Okay, so now my ID knows it will have a prod data in it. So this is an array. So every array starts from the index 0, and the first element, if that has an in cart value of not equal to 0, okay, that means my my local storage is not empty and has some information. So what I'll do, I'll assign is this dot cart data client to the info variable. Okay, my cart data client is now updated with the latest information here. So everything will be replaced with the current information. Now I need to loop through each entry and put it in the cart data server object. The reason why I'm emphasizing so much on these comments, because so that you can understand what I'm doing in each step. Okay, and this might not be completed in one single video. So I might need to create maybe 2 or 3 videos to finish the entire cart service, but that's how I'll do it. So if I rush, then the whole purpose of this tutorial will be defeated. So probably once I finish the constructor thing here, I'll stop it here and we'll continue with in the next video. Okay, so for looping, we know that the cart data client has a prod data, which is an array. So for arrays, you can simply chain the for each method, which will give you an object, and you can use this arrow function. Okay, so for each object, it will be represented as P here. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll call the product service. Okay, this will be a product, right? This will be a product. So get single product, I need to supply an ID that will come from this P object. As you can see, my IDE is able to recognize the parameters it has. It has an ID, and in cart values, I will use the ID. Then this will give me an observable to which I can subscribe. Okay, and this will give me some sort of actual product info from the server. That will be of product model server. As you can see, my ID is smart enough to give me a hint. Okay, then I can use the arrow function again to do some stuff once I receive the information. So if I know, let's say if I check for the card data server dot data, this is again an array. We'll start from 0. So if the first element has a num in card equals to 0, right? So this means uh, my data server card is empty. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll simply use data server dot data first element num in card should be p dot in card. So if the first element is 0, that means my card is empty. The server card is empty here. Okay, so the first object will be the first element here. This dot card data server dot data 0 dot product should be actual product info here. Okay, then I'll put a to do here. To do uh, create calculate total function and replace it here. So we'll work on it later on. Okay, that's why you have to do's. Next thing is to update the card data client dot total with your card data server dot total. So this will be your authoritative value always. Now I set the local storage again, the card key and json.stringify. What should be the value? Should be the card.data client. Okay, that's it. But if this is not the case, we should have an else statement here. So that means we already have a uh, the card data server already has some entry in it. Okay, so card data server dot data dot push. Num in card will be p dot in card and the product will be actual product. Okay, again I need to calculate the total whenever we add a new product in the card. The total should be updated. Create a to do here. Then card data total client dot total should be card data server dot total. Okay, I know this is a bit repetitive, but I'm doing it so that you can understand the things. You can definitely extract it from here and create a function and call it here whenever you want. So make sure you do that for your own projects in your own projects, and that's the best practice, of course. So this dot card data client. So whenever you make any change in the server, make sure you update the local storage so that the local storage remains uh, in sync with your server model or server data. Okay. Once everything is done, I'm out of the else statement. I'll emit the card data object, and the way I'll do is using the spread operator so that I do not mutate my card data server information in any manner. So this will create a copy and send it to the subscribers. Okay, so that's pretty much for this part, or this video is getting too lengthy now. I'll take a pause here and I'll see you in the next video where we'll create all the other methods. Okay, and we will see how we can create the other functions like add to cart or the uh, calculate total function. Okay, so till then, if you have any suggestions or feedback or comments, please feel free to leave that in the comment section below. And do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video and my channel with your friends. So till then, I hope you are enjoying the series, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.